It's cooking. You guys are the first in crew, right?
Hey, stuff some more hay in there.
Austin, what were you guys doing? Were you guys inside observing? Okay, you guys are going to be after.
We're ready for rotation.
Just had. Is Luke and Angelesco still? Hey, Brett. No gloves. Their torch, your search. You all right?
Yes, ma'am. It's Staff Sergeant Castañedas. My home unit is 512 CES in Dover. Well, our primary mission in Patriot Warrior is to make sure that we cover the airfield at all times, all the incoming flights that come in, and as secondary mission is to participate in the exercise and also get our Air Force requirements covered. Well, pretty much we're simulating a spill, a fuel spill. We're not using JP fire, we're using diesel, which it burns a lot slower and a lot cooler than what JP fuel fire does. But pretty much we're creating a fuel spill in a pool, and we're going to use 2 hand lines to attack the fuel. The reason we use 2 hand lines is if you only use 1 hand line to attack the fuel, pretty much what you would be doing is pushing the fire, and you will never actually get to control the fire. On an actual fuel spill, you will use foam. We won't be using foam because once we use foam, you pretty much blanket the whole fire and it puts it down. So we use 2 hoses instead to keep it concentrated in a certain area, and that way we can smother the fire. It's very different than regular fires. We did structural fires, which is we use Class A, which is your typical materials, wood. In our case, we use wood and hay. It burns completely different. It's a lot easier to control since it's not a liquid. So this is a unique training for us as Air Force firefighters, because that's what we're going to be facing in the airfield if, God forbid, something was to happen. Well, it could be something from as bad as the actual aircraft completely crash landing, or something as simple as they're refueling the aircraft. The aircraft is still on, which is called hot refuel, and from there there's a spark, and you have not only the lives of all the airmen that are involved with refueling, the pilots, any mechanics that are on scene, but you also have millions of dollars of equipment that has to be, the fuel burns fast, so where the fuel goes, that's where the fire goes. So you're talking about major damage if you don't get into scene and you put that foam into that fire fast enough. Well, especially as a reservist, being a firefighter, we have a lot of requirements that, because we're reservists, we can't do the fire portion of it. We have to keep up with all the Air Force requirements. So when we come out here, we have a good chance to actually do firefighting. And 2 of my guys in my crew, they're not completely certified in the truck. So what I'm trying to accomplish with my crew is to actually get them certified in that truck, get them to know that truck to the point that they can do it with blinded. They can go to know that once we deploy those hand lines, they're getting water to those hand lines. I would say the structural fire, because not only are you preparing the structural fire, you have multiple crews running through it. Temperatures get really hot. We only have a handful of people, so you're running those exercise at the same time. You're prepping back hoses. You gotta refuel the tanks. And then you have the cleanup part. So I think that's has been the plus you have the weather as well. So not only are you fighting with all this gear on, which is close to 80 pounds of gear when you have your pack, you have the heat from the fire, you have the heat from the weather. So that's what I think is the most challenging part. Well, it's for us, it's not good to say that it's good that we get fires. We obviously like what we do. Now, once you cross that doorway, you have low visibility, you have temperatures. If you don't know what you're doing correctly, and if you're not using your techniques correctly, you can actually, if there's any victims in there, you can actually harm them more than you can help them. So if the fire, you go into the fire and instead of using a straight stream, you use a fog nozzle. Now you just steam. If there's a victim in there, you just burn them, you steam them. So you got to know what you're doing. So once you cross that doorway, you got low visibility, you got fumes coming down, heated gases coming down. So it's pretty intense. And so if you use, like I'm saying, if you use the wrong technique, not only will you harm the victim, you won't find the fire because you just blinded yourself. Well, a lot of people, when I tell them I'm in the reserves, they always thank me for my service. Then the next question is, what do you do? I'm guessing they're expecting for me to say infantry, which we know we don't have in the Air Force, EOD, security forces. So when I tell them that I'm a firefighter, sometimes they see it as, oh, so you don't do nothing. And when in actuality, our job, to us, we all take it seriously because lives depend on us. Coming EOD, pilots, the people doing services, everybody depends on us to do our job and know our job. So we gotta not only, like I said, we not only got to keep up with all the Air Force regs, we also got to keep up with the on NFPA regs, and the fact that we had to make sure that our airmen are trained properly to do the job, because God forbid that situation comes and you're not prepared, then it's more lives that go in jeopardy. So that's what I think is what everybody needs to know, that, I mean, we take our job seriously, we do a lot of training, we try to do as much training as we can, and we love what we do. Definitely. This is an opportunity, like I said, when you're in the reserves, you don't get I would say, adequate training or the time to do this type of training. I recommend this training to anyone because it's as close as you're gonna get to real life situation without putting anyone in harm or attempting to do it properly where you don't put nobody in harm. But yes, I would definitely recommend it. Personally, for me, is my kids, because I'm at home. They know, I try to tell them what I do, they understand what I do, and the fact that I get to do it out here, that to me is the most rewarding part.